Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I have my wife with me, Selena Lepe.
Hey.
Corvera, oh my God, I'm still not used to it after a year. But I really wanted to go over the race recap of this marathon relay, and I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. I have no clue how long this video is gonna be because I thought of a really good idea on how to do this. I wanted to go through the photos that my dad took to kind of share with you guys how this race went. So we're gonna really go through these. You guys are gonna get to see the photos, and as we go through, we're gonna tell you our minds and our thoughts with each photo, and a lot of them I'm just gonna zip right through, but let's get started. This race was the 2024, did he title this? No. The 2024 Marathon Mixed Relay, and this was it was both a national championship and it was a qualifying event for Turkey, thank you. For World Cup, for World Team Championships. So one, there was money on the line, and then two, there was a team on the line as well.
And it also qualifies as an Olympic trials.
Yes, so
Which is weird, but
I was literally gonna say that.
Yeah.
It's
I like
weird.
to explain it as like a part one to the Olympic trials for this mixed marathon relay. And the reason it's part one is because top 3 teams from this event move on to Turkey, which is what you were saying, the world champs. And then from there, they pick the US team that's gonna be sent to Paris. But you have to had come out of the Santee race, which was like Olympic trials part 1, and then you had to be sent to Turkey, and then you have to compete at Turkey and qualify into all the rules and regulations.
So to get to the results really quick, because you're following this channel and you probably are interested to know how it went, we got second as a team.
Yes.
But we as individuals, because I had to race all the males in the race and she had to race all the females, by time comparison, we both got third, which is pretty cool, because what that means is we will both most likely be racing together on a team at Turkey again for a chance to qualify for the 2024 Paris Olympics. So,
which is pretty cool, because we thought that like if we went, maybe there'd be a chance for like him to go or for me to go, but like possibly race on different teams, and now we are most likely racing on the same team again.
Yeah. All right, let's get started on this. So this was us. We got to the course. It wasn't necessarily like raining at first. It was like a light drizzle. Yeah,
it was cold and it was like sprinkling here and there, but it wasn't raining when we got there.
And keep in mind, this weekend was, if you guys were watching the news, San Diego was like trashed by like rain and like flood, and I'm pretty sure it only rained like 2.7 something inches.
Yeah.
But it was enough to absolutely destroy some parts of San Diego. You saw like cars floating down streets and stuff.
And that was the following day after the race.
Yeah, so we caught the beginning half of...
we were the beginning of the storm.
Yeah. So here was Mr. Lepe, Selena's dad. He was helping us out with our aid table. Kudos to him. He was there for like 4 hours,
race,
4 to 5 hours helping us out. Thank you so much for that. This was the start line of the race. The men started first, so it was kind of funny because we started, if you look behind over here, there was a bunch of people in the back. They started the Open 20K and the Open 10K at the exact same time that they did the marathon. So we were all gunning off at the same time at different start lines. So both official, that's a rule in USATF, you have to have separate start lines, separate starts to each race. This was most of the men's field right here. You had to be in contention for the money, you had to have come with a partner.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of international athletes showed up. This girl was from Mexico. I don't know where the gentleman is on the left, but on the right is Natalia, and she's from Venezuela. Right here, I was taking off with Cody, Bryson, and Jordan actually took off a little bit ahead of us, so he's a little bit further ahead. There's a start line. Thank you to Tracy for setting this entire event up. It was really good. So these photos might be a little bit mixed up just because of the way that they were uploaded to Facebook. But if we see anything interesting, like I said, I wanted Selena to get her perspective on anything that could she's interested in sharing about. This is Talia. This I wanted to make a separate video about this, but just lightly speaking, she actually got her Olympic trials standard at this race.
And this was her first 20K debut. So she's a junior still, but she decided she wanted to go for the Olympic trial standards, and she got it on her first try.
On her first try,
super cool.
So she's only 17 years old, and she is going to the Olympic trials. So gun went off. We had to do a quick little loop. As the men took off, it was because we have to cover an entire marathon. We had to go, the men had to go 12.195 kilometers for the first leg, and then it switched off. She did 10K, and then I did 10K, and then she finished it with 10K as well. So I think it's going to be interesting because, like we were saying, like a lot of the international athletes came to these races. They, for whatever reason, it's the Olympic year. People are trying to get their time standards and qualifications for the Olympics. It depends on what event you want to qualify for. If it's the 20K, then some of these athletes, like I was saying, they entered into the Open 20. But there's Olivia from Canada. She was doing the 20 as well. And then these guys, they were doing the Open 22, right?
Yeah, a lot of them were in the Open 20. I mean, some were in the 10K, but I don't think, it's hard to know who was who.
Yeah. Or why they were there. Who knows? Maybe some people are just doing rust busters for the season, or maybe they are trying to get their Olympic standards.
I think it was a silver label event for these other races. So, I mean, a lot of them could have come to try to get ranking.
That means that there's bonus points on the line if you finish on the podium for those races. So there would have been bonus points for anybody doing the 20K and the 10K, if I'm not mistaken. No. Maybe just the 20. No. If you lined up at the race, I think you get bonus points, period. For your...
I know for sure it was a 20.
Don't quote me on that. I'm not I'm not a master of this.
I know for sure it was a 20.
So Nick here was actually the winner of the race with his teammates Miranda Melville, and they took off like crazy fast. Natalia was always shooting for who was that one chick from Venezuela? That's a funny story on the side. There's Mario and Angelica. Mario's making his comeback here. He's used to be a very good race walker. And Angelica's still in the junior division.
So she was part of the 10K this last weekend.
Yeah. So,
she actually won the 10K for the women's side.
So yeah, Jordan up here was in really good shape in the blue jersey in the front. He was killing it. Like we took off and he was holding some pretty good pace. And us three in the back there, it was Cody here, and then me, and then Bryson. We were all kind of we were trying to settle into a pace, but it was a good pack for the first like 5 to 6K. Definitely a lot of nerves, I can tell. Everybody knows kind of what was on the line at this race, so
I feel like the rain hadn't really started here yet.
No, I don't think so.
Everybody looks pretty dry still, so
yeah. Pablo,
to see
Michael.
It's like the beginning of the race was dry, and then the rain came during that first leg.
The Italian stallion. And Clayton was doing the relay. Clayton is moving up to the senior division this year, if I'm not mistaken. So good job to Clayton for tackling.
She might be doing the 5.
Such a big distance. I believe she did do the 5. I was speaking to her after the race while you were in drug testing. First time for her. After having made the podium and a team. You've been in drug testing before though, right?
One time. Yeah. The last time I made a team.
Yeah. Took her forever this time. Oh my gosh. We thought we were only going to be there for 4 hours and we were there for 5 because...
It took me like an hour in total probably. Yeah.
So here's the second album. As the race was going on, I don't think the first 12K wasn't really raining that much for about like... God, I look really fit here. Like a really nice, cool. I like the knee drive there. It wasn't really raining that much. Matching strides, look at that. Oh, I remember these photos. These came out really good. Look at this.
That's cool.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still recording, right? Yeah. And then it goes again. I really liked how those came out. And then this right here. this is a lot of the same stuff here. Like I said, I don't think it was really raining here. My dad's camera's really good, high quality, so you can actually see.
Yeah, so you can see there. Oh, there.
You can see when it starts to rain. Yeah.
You can see the rain's picked up now because the floor is like super reflective of everything, and you can even see the raindrops.
Yeah. Got those brand new shoes. So I'm really proud of myself. I gotta say this, that like I've been working my butt off on my form. Like you guys would not imagine. I'm working on my form so much that it's annoying her. Like I'm asking her to take video every single freaking day. I'm like training in front of a mirror on a treadmill, like annoyingly so much, because I've been having such a hard time with my races over the past like 2 to 3 years since COVID. But this was like one of the first races I told Selena where like I feel like after crossing the finish line at this race, I finally got some confidence back. Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, like I'm sick and tired of walking paranoid. Like I have to trust in myself and the work that I've been doing to look at this. This took a long time to get to.
Every day.
Well, and that's the thing, is that like I don't want to have to take video to be questioning my form. I want to take video because I want to make productive content. Like, what a nice photo.
I don't know who that is, but I thought it was a nice photo.
That's Coach Velasco.
He coaches. Know who that is.
He coaches a lot of. So this is he coaches a lot of the Mexican athletes down in Tijuana. And he's very good.
When I saw those photos, I'm like, wow, whoever this man is, he made a nice photo.
It's a nice photo, yeah. So we had a dual thing at a camp one year where we went down to TJ and we raced all of Mexico. Yeah. He was basically the person who connected the dots in Mexico. There's like an Olympic training center down there.
That was my first camp, so I remember that.
Yeah, that was a crazy race. I had a stomach flu. It sucked. Now to get more specific into the marathon mixed relay part, when we got ready the night before, we were like, oh my God, we're gonna have to pack so much stuff. And we did. We brought 2 backpacks each, plus all the aid stuff for the aid table. But we had 2 different sets of clothing, 2 different sets of sweats, and 2 different sets of uniform.
And 2 different pairs of shoes.
Yeah, we did bring 2 different pairs of shoes, which caused a bit of a hassle in the
transitioning part.
Yeah, in the transitioning part, because we had to switch bibs and foot tags, shoe tags.
And the bibs were ripping because of how wet they were getting.
Yeah, I mean, look at this.
You had to be very delicate on how you were taking those off.
Yeah. Like I said, the photos are all mixed up. So here at this point, you can see it's pouring. Like,
you can see it right here on that previous photo. You can see it a lot better.
There's just like a haze. There's a haze of just like white because it started pouring down like, and it wouldn't stop for like 15 to 20K.
No, it kept going for like 20 more K because it went all through my race and then it went all through your second race again. So
why does that suck? Well, because first
20K
off,
is like another hour and a half approximately it rained.
Yeah, I got to walk with Clayton here. That was pretty cool. And he, like, when I walked by him, he took the opportunity to kind of go by with me. I thought that was pretty fun. Let me tell you guys why this sucked. And this is information specifically for the mixed marathon. You cannot think about it like it's one race. You have to think about it like it's 2 separate races, because that's exactly what it felt like. Mm-hmm. We brought 1 uniform, 1 set of clothes, nutrition aid for 1 half of the race, and then a whole duplicate of that set for the second half.
Yeah.
By the time I finished my first leg, by the time that I had finished my first leg, I was drenched in like maybe, I don't know. Like, I remember taking off all the clothes and I was holding it in my hands and I was like, this has got to be like 5 to 10 pounds.
It was enough to where like if you would have wring it out, it would have definitely poured. Like, I mean, when I took mine off, it was like I threw it and it was like splotch, splotch. It wasn't just like, oh, it lightly got wet. I mean, it was soaked. It got soaked.
Yeah, it was like 5 to 10 pounds of additional weight.
If you would have sat in that clothes, it would have been terrible to just be sitting in the wet clothes to start again.
Look at that smile.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Maria.
Yeah, that's when I got to stand with her for a bit.
Okay.
We were waiting for our partners there.
Yeah, okay, so check this out, you guys. This was the transitional period. So Selena's looking, because I'm about to come in to finish my first leg of the race, my 12K. I finished 12K in like 55 something, which
right there, 55:25.
pretty impressive by my own standards. I was like really happy with that result. And there's the tag.
55:30.
55:30, yeah. Maybe a little bit more because you had to keep walking. So
Yeah.
you'll notice that even after I tagged Selena's hand, I have to keep walking a bit. And the reason is because I split my watch there, or I'm getting ready to split my watch, but the tracker is right there. So I have to cross the tracker in order to get my split, and that's why they were saying keep going even after you tag. I don't know if everybody listened to that, but
I didn't hear that.
I noticed it after the first, like, well, it must have worked out, I think, right? Like you would think, otherwise our splits wouldn't even have come in. But anyways, you see me break into a jog here, and Selena's gonna launch off in her first set, and then she goes straight into the pouring rain. What was that like for you? Because I was like, it wasn't raining for me, so I adjusted to the temperature, but you went straight into the rain.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty cold to start off, but I just wanted to make sure I started off conservatively so that I could still continue.
Yeah, she was moving, man.
I mean, I started getting pretty wet right away.
And the shoes, man, when your shoes get heavy.
I was gonna say, my shoes didn't make it more than a lap dry.
Yeah. There's a certain part of the course that was just straight puddles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I got there, I was like, I just stepped right in it, and I was like, "There's no way around it. They're gonna get wet anyways." Was kind of my thoughts. I'm like, why am I gonna try to go around the puddle?
Was it cold?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was cold, but
look at this knee drive that you have. Very impressive. Such good form. And then notice that when she lands, the knee's locked, and then the drive underneath. Very good form. Selena had a fantastic first leg. She threatened to break 50 minutes for her first leg. She was so close. And you probably would have if you weren't carrying the weight. It was a little bit warmer.
Warmer?
Yeah.
If it was warmer, I would have done maybe broken the 50?
Yeah, you would have broken 50.
I thought you meant like it was warmer, which is
well,
why
like, think about all this. You got to walk through puddles.
I think I was only like a lap in, and like you could already see.
Oh my gosh.
How soaked I am. It's like my whole front side was already wet.
I didn't notice that. Lucky you had gloves on.
Oh yeah. There actually got a point in the race where I started squeezing water out of my gloves.
No way.
As I was racing, yeah.
That's kind of funny. This is Natalia. That's such a cool photo. Oh, the raindrops. The raindrops. Oh no, copyright. My bad. My bad. So at this point, I was.
Is that Angelica?
That is Angelica.
Oh, good for her staying dry.
I heard she had like twisted her ankle or something.
Yeah, I ended up talking to her after the race, and she said it was like her ankle popped.
Oh, okay.
And then she said it hurt for like in the moment, and then she was able to kind of walk it off.
Yeah.
But I know people got alarmed. They kind of saw and.
Oh really?
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. So right here, these aid tables, you can see Clayton on the first table, but my uncle right there to the left, he's helping me on the second table because I finished the race and I told him, I was like, dude, like my Achilles is killing me. It's too tight, and I feel like it's gonna like, I was like, it's too cold.
Yeah.
Like I'm too cold, my calves are too tight, my entire right side all the way down is way too tight, and I had 50 minutes, and I swear to you, it took me 30 minutes to change out of my clothes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like being stuck in the rain really hit. I mean, I don't know how everybody else felt, but personally, I felt so exhausted just trying to even switch out of the clothes.
That sucked.
Even as a woman,
I was like, I couldn't even feel my fingers.
As a woman, I had to wear a sports bra as well, and sports bras are very tight.
Yeah.
So going to take it off, I was like, oh my gosh! Like, so I kind of just got to the point where I just ripped it off. But then going to put the other one on, you're like wet, And if you know anything about putting on like clothes while you're wet, it just gets stuck everywhere.
Yep.
And it's like my arms were cramping already because of how cold I was.
Yeah.
It was easier to start the first leg than it was the second leg, because at least starting the first one, I was actually warm.
Yeah.
The second one, I was freezing. I was freezing to start because of how cold I got in that race. And like, it is just, it's hard.
Here's a photo of Robin, who is the women's side. She won the entire race as an individual athlete. She was partnered up with Clayton this day. But congratulations to her, because she took home number 1, and she is our fastest female representative
headed into Turkey.
Yeah. And then look at this. Look at the rain falling sideways. That's cool, man. I want like some of the high quality versions of these photos. There's Dr. Stephanie Casey.
Look at that. It got even so dark.
Yeah.
Like
it's the exposure.
But that's representational of how it actually was that day. Yeah. All these lighter, overexposed photos.
Yeah.
It was very gloomy.
Yeah. Some of the frame rates my dad had to, because when it's that gloomy, you got to raise the ISO a little bit and then close the shutter speed so that you can get the rain a little bit, like, you get the rain a little bit more frozen in the air. Okay, so Selena's coming around right here. She's splitting. Yeah, that changing period was very rough. I'm not kidding. It felt like it took like 20 to 30 minutes to really fully change and to get warm.
Mm-hmm. Where did you dress?
Under the tent. Under the tent mostly. I was going back and forth because the biggest problem was I was like, oh my! I just realized I'm about to put on clean dry socks and clean dry shoes, and I still need to walk to the start line. I don't want to put these on until it's time to go.
Yeah.
So I was walking around barefoot for like 40 minutes.
Oh, but you weren't gonna get wet. They weren't gonna get that wet.
I didn't want my shoes to get wet because my feet were already cold.
They wouldn't have gotten that wet.
My feet were actually warmer, not in the socks. So I was at the table getting worked on, and I was like, dude, like, no, not yet.
Here's Antalya after she finished her 20K.
So she crossed the finish line. She's currently the fastest race walker in Venezuela, and she is in, I would like to say, I don't know what her ranking is right now, but I'd like to say she's in pretty good contention to be hopefully going to the Paris Olympics as well. That'd be really cool because she's been putting in a lot of hard work, and that would be really cool to see some representation for her country in the walks. So right here, Selena finishes her first leg, and I'm right there, and like for like one moment you can see that it like lightly started just to barely drizzle, and I was like, all right, cool, like maybe I can be a little bit dry. So yeah, like I was saying before, maybe I got cut off, but I like being a fan of like the people more than I like being a fan of the sport, because I feel like a lot of stories don't get told outside of the podium. So if I don't know who certain people are, it's mostly because I just haven't met them yet, not because it's any kind of disrespect. Look at that smile.
Yeah.
Nice. She looks really happy. So this was the 20K finishes right here.
That's how I wish I could have finished.
Hopefully I'm not like swiping too fast. Like I said, there's like over 1,000 photos. So if there's a really cool one, I'll stop.
Yeah.
Stare at it. There's Natalia and her coach.
But a lot of them are the same, so it's like the swiping is just because it's the same photo.
That's her and her husband as well. There's Olivia finishing her 20K. Nick coming around for his leg. All right, here is Selena coming into
handoff.
Pass the baton to moi. I was pumped when I saw her come in because I knew she had killed that leg. I was like, I knew the time, and I was like, Tim was telling me.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, she's doing awesome, and I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. I felt really good. I mean, I felt incredible that first leg, but.
So I'm like smiling, and that's where the first few photos popped up in the album. I was very nervous about this second leg because we had done like a practice workout, and the first like 2 to 3K of the second half of this race absolutely sucks. And this is like where we're talking about, what is the point of this race? Like, really, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but like, really, if we're thinking about what is the point of this race, what is the point of any distance race? It's to see how fast you can get from point A to point B within the guided rules. These are the rules, get from point A to point B within those rules, right? This is 2 separate races in one race. That 15-minute gap is not supposed to be there. Yeah. It doesn't exist in any other event that I know of. And it's like, if you go as hard as you can for 12K and then you stop for 50 minutes, what that says to your body is, I'm done. Mm-hmm. It's a wrap. We're calling it a day, we're going home. The body naturally will shut down to begin the recovery process. But what we did after 50 minutes is we jumped right back into the race to hammer another 10K. And if you can see the look on my face, I'm like, oh my God, lactic acid city.
Well, and the rain didn't help in that situation, I feel like, either, because if your body wasn't like slowly starting to shut down after that first leg, just naturally, it's like the cold, the wet, the rain, it definitely sped up the process of your muscles saying it's time to shut down.
Yeah. Yeah, and that second, it's like...
I crossed the line on my first leg, and the second I stopped, my arms cramped.
Yeah.
It was like all this cramped. My legs felt very tight and heavy, but...
Yeah, I got my arm sleeves.
It wore off a little bit.
I got my arm sleeves on. I put gloves on because I was just that cold. And the advice that we were given is just that in that break period, you want to make sure that you stay as warm as possible to prevent the lactic acid from setting in. You want to increase blood flow. So we tried our best to do that. It's a little bit difficult to do when you're soaking wet, though. Luckily, the temperature in San Diego really wasn't that cold, so it could have been worse. I think it was like 60 degrees or something. I was averaging like 430 kilometers for the first leg of the race and then 445s for the second leg. My form started falling apart a bit. I was like looking down a lot. I like how some of these photos came out though. So halfway through my second leg, the rain kind of let up, and it brought us a little bit of a break. And as I was finishing up my second leg, I was really, really crossing my fingers that Selena would get the opportunity to race dry.
Which I did.
Which she did, yeah. Luckily, because I was sick of being soaked, and I know that kind of sucked for that second half.
The shoes still got wet, but that was just because of the floor.
Yeah. And then in between, I had forgot my gel. We brought gels to try to refuel for the second half of the race, and I forgot my gel in my backpack. That's kind of like one of the parts where I'm like, this right when we thought we felt prepared for this entire race, like we forgot a few things still. And I was like, dude, like, that's an important one, you know? So right here, I had finished finally, and like, I was like suffering here and just so glad to finish. Selena, how did you feel right here?
Scared. I felt very pukey.
Already right here? Mm-hmm. No way.
That was one of the last things I got to tell Tim.
That was me.
I told him, I said, I don't know what's going on, but I feel very pukey. And he's all like, it's okay, just take a deep breath and one lap at a time. And I mean, I don't know. I was nervous. I didn't know how I was gonna react to that. I was super cold. It's like,
yeah. This is the epitome of like how I felt right here. I didn't feel too bad. I just wish my legs and my lungs were in the same place. Shout out to my uncle. We wouldn't have been able to make it to the finish line without him, I don't think. He helped us out a lot leading up to this race. That's the photo right there.
Yeah.
So this is what was so weird is Robin was leading the race, but she was time-wise behind Selena. So Selena was already finishing a few laps, even though Robin was still...
I would say team-wise she was behind.
Right, yeah.
Time-wise she was ahead individually.
Time-wise she was ahead individually, but by team, yeah, you're right.
She was behind.
So it was so strange how the winner could have been like way back there. This is Tim telling her to go faster.
Yeah, probably. I started off faster than my first leg. I started off my first leg like 5:20, and then I worked down to sub 5.
Yeah.
And then the second leg I started off I think like 5:15 maybe, or sub 5:10. And I held on to that pace for like 5K, and then I hit a wall. I think I had maybe like 2 or 3 laps to go here. I remember passing in, but I remember almost passing out. So we were 3 hours and 9 minutes into the race here.
It did not feel like we were out there for that long.
It did for me.
It did for you.
In those last 3Ks. I mean, I wasn't out there for 3 hours, but it felt rough.
Thanks to my friends for showing up. Congratulations, Stephanie. Yeah, so everybody was finishing up here at this point. People started coming in. So as a team, the winners of this race were Nick Christie and Miranda Melville. So they, as a team, crossed the finish line first. And then this is, like I said, it's the weird part, is that Robin is still racing, but she's in first as an individual.
Yeah.
It's a sick and twisted game. Selena's coming around for her last couple of laps. I think she had 2 to go here.
Or 1. I might have had 1.
The suffering.
But the suffering was real. I was hanging on by thread of those last 2Ks.
I don't think there's any way that last leg was going to be peaceful.
Here's my finish, because I remember Robin passed me somewhere, I think around 2K. No, maybe it was the last K she passed me. And my dad yelled at me and just said, just try your best to go with her into the finish line. And
yeah.
I think that might have been what pushed me over, was that I did. I tried to go with her.
Here she comes for the finish. I'm standing at the finish line over there waiting for her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of her.
And so again, we're finishing second team here.
She's gonna jump into my arms.
I really wanted to celebrate because I was really proud of myself. But somebody else took over me. It's like...
She crosses the finish line, and then immediately she's in a very crouched position to me, like not getting it. It's still processing on my face. I'm still very happy for you. And then she goes over to the side, and
this guy over here is
and we're both
running
like
over to me.
We're both realizing like, oh my god, she needs help. Like,
I wasn't gonna fall or anything. Like, I knew I wasn't falling, but I was expelling.
Yeah.
It was coming
Oh,
up.
okay, yeah, we won't.
See Angelica there. So this was a 10K. So this is a 10K podium.
Mm-hmm.
We have Angelica winning that one. That's Olivia
the 20K
from Canada.
Yeah, I think she was on the podium, and then the 20K was won by Natalia, if I'm not mistaken. And then
so something I think ended up happening.
Something
here.
was weird. I don't know. Yeah.
Something ended up happening because I know in order of how they came through the line, it was the Mexico girl, this one here, and then Natalia, then Olivia, then this other Mexico girl. But something ended up happening where I don't know. There was a mix-up, so I don't even know.
Yeah. We won't speak on
what I don't know.
What we don't know. Yeah.
I just heard. I heard there's some kind of mix-up. I was too tired to pay attention.
Good for these guys. They look like they did really well. More podium photos of the 20. And then here's the shots of Nick and Miranda.
So So this first place relay team.
First place relay team. And then Selena and I missed the podium ceremony because we were in drug testing, so we had to come out and do separate shots. So we went up and had a cool little moment where we could kind of share it with each other. But anyways, that's kind of the end of it, really. That was really fun. What a brutal race, honestly. It was a really tough race. I don't know what the overall rankings are gonna look like for a mixed marathon, but I know that there's gonna be a performance list coming out. That'll be interesting to know, but as it stands right now, the next goal is top 22 in Turkey. And if we can do that, and also be first American team.
There's a chance, yeah.
There's a chance. What we're saying is there's a chance. There was a smaller chance before this race, but now there's an even bigger chance after this race. So thank you guys always for the support. This race is brutal. Any last words about the race? Thoughts? 3 hours, 28 minutes is what we
Part
finished
of me
in.
wants to say I thought that was going to be my first and last time doing the mixed relay. But
Got to do another one.
we get another shot, so.
I'm excited to share more videos with you guys soon, but I definitely want to do a race recap so that you guys got to see a little bit about what we experienced, and that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to my wife for joining me on this video, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.